Hey guys, welcome to Shama TV. Today we're shooting from the Dallas Digital Summit, and we have with us our first guest, Matt Hertig, who is co-founder of Alight Analytics. And we're going to talk to Matt about one of our favorite topics, or maybe not so favorite topics, marketing ROI.
Yes, that is a popular topic, isn't it?
Matt, you deal with this with your analytics platform, obviously, and you answer these questions all the time. So what do you think it is that causes people such distress when it comes to marketing ROI and how to measure that in the digital age?
Yeah.
What do you think the challenge is there?
Well, I think the whole idea of marketing ROI has evolved, obviously, with the onset of digital. I think the pressure to demonstrate ROI has never been greater, though. I think that businesses as a whole and organizations, and we work with large to mid-sized companies really across the country, they really struggle with justifying the investment. There's really three core challenges that marketers face. And so I'm pretty simplistic. I talk about things in either twos or threes.
Okay.
And so if you think about your journey to go buy something. So let's say you're going to go buy a computer.
I was going to say shoes, but we can go with the computer.
How about shoes? Shoes is even better. Okay. That's even more relevant to you.
Okay.
So kind of describe your process, right?
All right. If I'm looking for shoes, I'm generally looking on Pinterest. That's where it starts, and looking at what my most fashionable friends are sharing, what styles appeal to me, and then I'll go look at websites, e-commerce sites generally, of like a Nordstrom or Neiman Marcus or some of my favorite stores, and then I might go in store to try it. Just depends on kind of my time and my process. But when I walk into a store, I generally have a good idea of kind of what I'm looking for.
You've already done your research.
I've already done my research. I know what kind I'm looking for. It's mostly just to try on for size, if anything.
Right. Yeah. So think about the challenge that marketing has, and this is really the first challenge, is the multiple touch points that you are presented with and the multiple experiences to discover the brand, to research the brand, to engage, consider, ultimately analyze and buy, right? That's a journey that you just described. So think about the millions and millions and millions of individual journeys that consumers go on to try and make buying decisions. Well, they all experience different touch points. So it's very, very difficult if you don't have a strategy to attack the journey. The second problem is, since 2008, fast forward to 2015, marketers have over 2,000 different systems in which to execute marketing.
Right.
Think about that. So 2,000 different systems. Now, we as marketers, one of the things that we really love is pretty things. And so we get enamored by new software to do things better, faster, quicker. Well, those 2,000 systems essentially create 2,000 different data ecosystems. So the ecosystem, as a data company, we look at that as a very fragmented ecosystem. So you have this journey that's pretty complex, and I'm creating chaos on my data layer. And then we use these really powerful tools called Microsoft PowerPoint and Excel to try and mash all this stuff together to tell a story. So fragmented ecosystem, complex journey, outdated tools and methodologies equal I can't answer the ROI question. And that's really where marketers are today, frankly. It's the reality of what marketers deal with. And I will tell you, I don't think at any other point in time in history can marketing confidently answer the ROI question. So the question is, how do I do it? You got to break this problem into two parts. First of all, data, right? I got to get all this data together. I have to bring it all together. And frankly, that's why we built our platform called Channel Mix. I was one of those marketers. When my business partner, Michelle, and I, when we started the company, we literally were trying to manufacture this data as an analytics company. Come on. So we built this platform to really take data out of the equation, get it all together, make it talk, and then we could truly tell a story using business intelligence tools and other ways to really get us back to the decision-making process. And that's where marketers have to be. They have to be back in the decision-making game and not in the data-gathering game. Because if you're not, you're never going to answer the ROI question.
Fair enough.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, I think that's great. I call this the customer journey, what you alluded to.
Yeah.
And I talk about this in my upcoming book, Momentum.
Awesome.
And you talk about how marketers have to find all those points where they can intersect.
That's
so
right.
It sounds like what you're saying is you really need to take all this data and have the right tools so you can tell the right story, but you can also take actionable, it's actionable insight. It's wisdom from data.
That's right.
It's really kind of pulling that. So it sounds like what we really kind of need moving forward is good filters, because we have the data.
Right.
And how do we have the right filters that allow us to make good choices, right? Where marketers spend their money, where we feel like we're getting the most ROI.
That's right.
And so, Matt, let me end it with this. For marketers who say, or really CEOs or across the board, they say, what metrics should I be looking at?
Sure.
Right? And we know that obviously it's different by business and industry and so forth. But at the end of the day, what should you be looking at to say, hey, my marketing's working or not working?
That's a great question. So the first thing marketers need to do is change their thinking, right? So when we think about metrics, we think about things like clicks and click-through rate and open rates and impressions and shares and followers.
Right.
And those are all metrics. The first thing, though, we have to do is change our thinking about what is meaningful. So historically, we've always looked at what I would say conversion, right? So what is the conversion metric that I want? Because ultimately, that's where I'm monetizing the value of marketing.
Right.
And we try to tie that to individuals. Well, you came, you clicked, you converted on email. Oh, I saw this paid search ad and I clicked and I converted. And when we do that, what did we just ignore? The entire journey.
Right.
And so we have to stop looking at one-to-one actions and looking at behaviors. So when you think about behavioral metrics, the thing that I always tell marketers is metrics on their own are meaningless. So you have to put it into a context. And so we preach really a 3-phase funnel, which is awareness, engagement, and impact. And you've got to deliver all of those metrics in context so that you can capture and isolate what's happening in the journey that you're creating for customers. Because that's ultimately marketing's job, is to craft a journey that's efficient and effective, that ultimately yields the greatest ROI. And so when I take those metrics and I look at things like how many impressions does it take to get visits to my site? How many visits does it take to get a conversion? How many clicks does it take to get to a conversion? Those are the context metrics that you need to frame up your measurement strategy around. Because the reality of it is your business, my business, anybody else's business is going to yield some different sort of metrics. My encouragement, though, is put it in the context. Put it in the right structure in which you are accounting for every touch point. So I know how many impressions I'm creating in the marketplace, to how much engagement that's yielding, to how much conversion and impact that's actually having. And when I do that, then I can discover ROI.
Thanks so much, Matt, for sharing your insights on marketing ROI. I think that's a great topic, especially as we go into 2016.
Yeah, well, thanks for having me. I appreciate it.
Absolutely. All right, guys, stay tuned. Lots more marketing and business information coming your way. Be sure to subscribe.